All right, gang, here we go. The final installment in our position preview series. We've got a pretty thick one for you guys today. We're going to be covering the running back room, wide receiver room, special teams briefly, and then the secondary, right?
Yep.
Unless I said one twice. Whatever. We've got Tyler back this week. He found his phone, so
Yeah, I'm back. It's that like that meme of the outdoor boys, where he's just like, I'm out in the wilderness in Alaska somewhere.
And
yeah,
that's
pretty much.
Tyler like once a month for us.
Yeah,
Well, Tyler, since you missed last week, oh, also obviously we'll have mailbag as we always do. Tyler, since you didn't make it last week, do you want to kick us off into the running back room?
yeah. So obviously there's Nate, but we lost Anderson last year, and we lost Peyton Jones. Was it Charlotte? Right? Sorry, he went to.
He went to Liberty, didn't he?
Liberty,
Was it
yeah.
Liberty?
Liberty legend, Peyton Jones.
So we lose them, but I'm not overly concerned about either of those losses, especially what we're getting in. Um, and before we get on to this about all the running backs, I just want to, everybody talks about Nate Sheppard. I don't think Nate Sheppard is going to get the touches people think he is. Just because if you look at the last 2 years with Manny, all Manny's done is rotate. Like last year, Castle and Sheppard split touches. Before that, when Star Thomas was the only guy that looked like he knew how to move his feet, Manny was still giving touches to other guys.
Peyton
So
Jones. Well, they were even trying to force Jacquez more on us for a little while last year until like the state game.
yeah, so like while I expect Sheppard is going to get a lot of work, I don't think he's going to get the workload a lot of people whether jokingly or seriously like think he's going to get. We're not going to see them treat him like a Mateo Durant where they just run him till the wheels fall off. At least I hope not. But
Because we also can't afford to lose him. Like I don't want to run him
yeah,
into the ground. We have other weapons.
Well, I fear I'm on the opposite track with as y'all on that one. I don't think we do have like the greatest other weapons in the world, especially for the skill sets that they have. And I mean, he's better than any running back we've ever laid eyes on. I don't see any reason why he shouldn't be getting 15 to 20 touches a game. And, I mean, definitely getting rotated. You gotta have, and we have great rotational pieces. But man, like you just feel like he's gotta be out there and getting the ball because he's not like a Mateo in the sense of like, he's good, but Nate's great, and I think he's on such a different skill level. It's something Duke hadn't really seen before. And I think that's something where, you got to change your offensive scheme a little bit because without him, that we're talking about like a 2-10 team this year.
well,
Yeah, I partially meant like we have other weapons and like we don't have one star on the offense, and that's all we can go to. I mean, we have some studs in the receiver room that we'll get into, as well as a tight end room, and then Campbell also is no slouch either. Like it's not Nate's not the only guy who's capable on the offense, is what I was trying to get at, I guess.
no, not. I think 15 to 20 touches a game is fine. I don't think Nate getting 20 touches versus Nate getting 28 touches. I don't think is going to be that big of a difference for the team overall this year. Before, like, I don't think we need to run him into the ground this year to be like. I don't think if Nate gets an extra 8 touches a game, it's going to make a 4-win difference this season.
Yeah, but
With
I
what we
feel
do.
like in college football now, almost nobody, probably outside of like Ashton Genty, was getting, upwards of 30 carries a game. I mean, I think it's realistic.
By the way,
20 is where you're going to peak at with a guy like Nate, because out of 20 live ball reps with it in his hands, you feel like at least half of those are good for 10 plus yards. And the rest, if he's getting tackled in the backfield, it's never going to be one of those like 7 yard losses. So. I
Sure.
guess that's probably my premise on how many snaps I'd like to see him take a game.
and well, since we're already talking about it, let's speaking of Nate Sheppard, if you guys have lived under a rock for the last year and a half of Duke football, he's pretty much the only thing giving us life and hope right now. He's a true sophomore, 5'10", 205. Depending on what outlet you look at, he's either first or second team All ACC preseason. Most people have him first, but there's the running back group in the ACC this year is pretty good. He's on the Maxwell Award watch list, which goes to the best all-around player in college football every year. He played in 14 games last year as a true freshman, started 10 of them. Like Eli said, really it took till what the second half of the state game was really once
Yeah.
it became Shepherd's
Yeah.
like
Out
Shepherd's show.
party. Yeah.
It was like literally half of the state game. They were like, all right, we're done with Jocko's more experiment. It's Nate time.
Yeah.
Unless so
yeah.
many West and East runs you can bear to watch before you just like we got to do something else, man.
Poor Quez, man. We had so much stock.
We gave him a lot of flat, like all three of us, you know. And I feel like we've all had players like that we're all high on, but like our first year of doing this pod, like man, we thought Quez was about to come in and do some damage.
We had Krim make an edit for him and everything.
Nobody was higher on Peyton Jones than I ever was.
God, dude. Speaking of which, I was listening to one of our preview episodes from last year, who we thought was going to get like the most like touches and yards. Dude, we were so high on Peyton Jones, it's not even funny. And then we didn't see him after the Elon game. That was so
always
crazy.
have been.
Till the wheels fell off, literally.
Yeah.
But dive into Sheppard some more real quick. 200 carries last year, 1,000 yards, 11 touchdowns. Added 37 receptions for 200 yards and a score. In 10 of the 14 games he played in, he had 60 or more rushing yards. He holds the Duke record, actually, for yards, touchdowns, and carries by a freshman. Did not lose a fumble at all last year, so he'll fumble his first touch of the year now. Sorry, Nate, in advance.
We jinxed it.
Yeah, I apologize for that. He's universally a top 3 running back in the ACC. You got Fletcher at Miami, and then you've got the guy at Louisville. I'm blanking on his name right now. But
yeah, and Haynes at Tech.
Yeah. So I mean, but he's got an argument for number 1, genuinely, to be the best running back in
the Duke effect. He should be 1, but he's a number 3.
And he'll see the lion's share of snaps on offense. But like I said earlier, it's just worth mentioning that in the last 2 years, and we haven't had a Nate Sheppard before, but in the last 2 years, Manny and Brewer have, rotated. Like we saw Anderson Castle catching a lot of snaps or catching a lot of passes out of the backfield last year. Like he was our power back. There were a lot of situations where like we got him in the open field and got him out into space.
Little screen game. He was kind of lethal in that state game. I think it was like they ran little like Heinbach slip screen action with him, busted that bitch for like what was it? Like at least 30 or 40 before he got the touchdown run. Yeah, that was insane, of course. But man, it's just like when you're that big and that powerful in the backfield, being able to turn around and catch the ball and then kind of get upfield and get moving. And I think we've got that again this year, even though we lost Castle, with guys like Campbell from Rutgers. I think we still got a little lightning in the bottle there in that, third down pass game and things like that. So, that's big time.
Yeah. The more guys, like, the more options we have, like, the more guys we can get the ball to out of the backfield, like throwing out screen passes, like it just opens up our offense so much more. And I'm so grateful to have that because Nate had a good number of receptions last year. Where's that stat at?
And I
37 receptions for almost 300 yards and a touchdown out of the backfield.
And most of that came towards the end of the year. It was almost kind of like the same fight he had to start. It was like he started getting carries and getting most of the reps, but he wasn't getting any passes, and then finally, like last 4 or 5 games, that they're like, oh shit, we can just dump it to him like a Heinbach toss essentially, and he's gonna go get us 30 yards. So yeah, that's gonna be something they have to utilize this year for us to even sniff on any amount of success.
I guess on the note of CJ Campbell, Noah mentioned our guy CJ Campbell, who I think is gonna be our Castle to our Sheppard this year, right? Like even if he's not as physical or as dominant as Castle was, he's still gonna
back too.
Yeah, he's the pure. Yeah, he's going to be getting a healthy dose of snaps. He's transferred out of Rutgers, 5'10", 200, almost identical to Sheppard's build. He's also been at FAU and FSU. Over his career, he's got 12 starts with 212 carries, just over 1,100 yards. He's averaging 5.4 yards per carry. That's pretty solid. And 14 touchdowns. Again, on the note of guys getting receptions out of the backfield, he's got 41 receptions for 469 yards and 3 TDs. He saw the majority of his career action in his career in 2024 at FAU. He actually sat behind Antoine Raymond at Rutgers last year.
Who was that monster?
Yeah, Raymond's a fucking tank.
That's a guy to sit behind right there.
I think he had almost 300 carries last year for Rutgers. Like,
Yeah, they were running the wheels off him.
Yeah, but like we just talked about with Castle out of the passing game, Campbell's going to be pretty effective in the passing game as well, but he's a little
There's
more
good
agile
numbers.
and better in the open field than Castle was. Um, Last but not least, he can also make people miss as well as running them over. I will say I have a lot of fun using him, rotating him in and out on College Football 27.
He's a good
Man,
player to have,
that's a
man.
fun running back room,
Yeah,
man.
it's fun and then there's that formation. You get him and Nate in the game, like a
Yep.
little
And
like,
then Nate goes to block for him up the
yeah, a
middle.
little Heimback off tackle
Yep.
motion. Oh,
Yep.
it's
Yep.
This
nutted, man.
this would be the perfect year to bring back the Coach Cut pistol.
Oh yeah,
This is
dude.
the year for it with Campbell and Sheppard back there.
And like RB3 and like Tyler said earlier, Manny and Brewer, they will rotate. I don't think we'll see as much of a third running back this year as we have in years past, just because, almost like there was a need for one in the past. And this year, all health being, you could probably get away with two really good guys and, just the occasional third. But two really good freshman backs. And I think the one a lot of people are talking about, CJ Givers, 5'11", 200, 3-star, 32nd ranked back in the nation. He was a Georgia Class A All-State and All-Region player. 100-yard game. Wait, oh shit, sorry, that's way off. 5,100 yards and 81 touchdowns in 4 years.
Is
Yeah,
that good?
let me give him his flowers. I was about to dick him right there. Yeah, buddy. Those are big boy numbers. And the state of Georgia Class A ball, that's good stuff. And then already through camp, seen some posts about him. There's been a little bit of buzz on a couple of on-3 things about him and on 247. So, I think he's making some electric plays, given some of that freshman speed and, hasn't been laid out in the middle of the field yet. So, but excited to have him, and that's definitely a guy I think we'll see at least on some special teams, and definitely maybe mixed in some of the early games of the year.
And Eli, I'll take Denson and Tadelis, and you can do Daal in the mailbag if you want to. Just
Yeah,
to
go ahead.
so we'll hit on Cole Denson real quick. He's a redshirt sophomore, been in the program 3 years now. 6', 200. He was one of 3 players last year to make the 2025 D Squad Player of the Year for Scout Team. So quick shout at him. You gotta have those guys that like,
Yeah,
oh,
glue.
like you gotta have the like genuine, like that's what you call a glue guy right there. And then the other freshman, Noah's a big fan of this guy too, Javen Tinellis.
Yeah, that's gonna be
5'10", 195, 3-star out of Florida. Gatorade Player of the Year honorable mention, which is for the state of Florida, that's a pretty damn big
big
deal.
time. Yeah,
Um, in 4 years he had 4,000 yards and 56 touchdowns. Also pretty good. He was also a 2-year letter on his track and field team as a sprinter, so he's got the speed. I'm going to assume that he might redshirt this year, just due to the fact that we've got Campbell in front of him. Givers probably gets in ahead of him. Nate Sheppard probably gets in ahead of him. And then this guy Eli's getting ready to hit on for us is probably getting ready to, I would assume, get some snaps ahead of him.
Yeah, Tinellis is probably gonna be the guy once Nate goes to LSU next year. Just kidding, of course. Yeah, and last but not least, our guy Billy Daal, grad transfer out of Yale, 6'1", 215. He's got 98 carries and 523 yards to his name. He's probably going to be a sneaky candidate to be in the power rotation at times. Probably a RB3 competition with CJ Givers. And also he's extremely physical. So we'll see. Parting thoughts in the running back room. If you play college football 27, you've heard Jesse Palmer say this offense is going to start and end with Nate Sheppard. We're going to ride him.
And give him the ball a lot.
Boom. That was good. But yeah, no. That was good.
That's funny as shit,
Damn
Tyler.
it, dude. That was good. Yeah, no, we're gonna ride Nate Sheppard this year. But that's good because even if guys game plan for Sheppard, even if maybe he's not break busting through one game, we've still got competent guys in the receiving game to like air it out over the top. So thank God we still have Nate because he opens up a lot for us. Moving along, we're going to my favorite segment of the week, mailbag. You guys showed out for this one, so appreciate everybody participating. If you guys don't mind, I'm gonna read these out of the replies just because that's how I always do it, if that's okay.
Yeah.
No offense, guys.
I'll just quit doing
God,
the doc.
Tyler, this is why Tim wants you gone, man.
I'll just quit doing the doc every week. Why don't we just read it all off on Twitter?
Tyler just freaks out and like rage quits the pod right now. Our friend Sweet Bentley says, I think Jared Richardson has a strong chance to make a push for wide receiver one. What are y'all's thoughts on that? Absolutely.
Yeah, I would hope so.
I don't think he had the chance to push for it. I think he is wide receiver, like unquestionable wide receiver one.
Absolutely. He's a stud, and I'm excited to get to talk about him in a few minutes. It's a pretty funny situation. We've got Jared Richardson, who's like a true wide receiver one archetype, and then we've got Javen Nicholas transferring in also, who's like a true slot receiver archetype. I mean, yeah, I'm excited about both those guys. Thank God for them. Our friend Jacob on 3, Ross at Ross Jacob 684. Do you think there's a chance this year that all 3 of these positions can be a top 50 or top 100 in each group in the country this year? Jacob, if these rooms can't break top 100 in the country,
We're in bad
welcome
patch.
back 2021.
Yeah, we're gonna be cutting it up. There ain't no doubt about it.
I'm going to think more along the lines of top 50. Running back, probably. Secondary, doubtful. Receivers, probably right around the 50 mark.
Yeah,
By the
But you
time-
think
by
they
the
can
time
all break top
75.
100 though, right, Tyler?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you got to be almost god awful to not break top 100. That's not treading lightly there. You got to suck. So
Yeah, you
It's
got to be
just-
really bad.
Top 50 secondary. There's just a lot of really good secondaries out there.
yeah.
Our friend Drew Cheshire at Drew_Chesh suggest a few one-liners that I can spew to make it sound like I've done my Duke football offseason homework.
It's over.
Yeah.
God, what's something else?
I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah. How's the quarterback battle going?
Yeah. Excited to see Malik.
Yeah.
Power of friendship will prevail.
Yeah.
Mensa
Yeah.
looks good.
Yeah.
Grayson Love, the wide receiver one.
Wide receiver one.
He's on
He also
diamond.
he goes on to say nothing about the quarterback room, Nate Trainer secondary, some deep cuts. Oh, I'm sorry. This is part of the first thing. So don't say anything about the quarterback room or Nate or the secondary. Give me some deep cuts. God.
O-line looks really. I think O-line is going to be very. I mean, I wasn't here for that one, but I think our O-line is not going to be the attention it deserves. I think it's going to be very good.
D-line should also be good.
D-line has the potential. O-line
has a pedigree.
Yeah, I think like we got the best transfer offensive lineman, like, or at least tackle out of the class with Grande. So
yeah, Nachos Del Grande. New nickname. Yeah, Grande.
It's over there.
Yeah. Our friend Crimroy at Crimroy12. Why did God only create one Ozzie Nicholas? I ask myself that every day.
I'd give my left leg for him and Alex Howard one more time, man.
God,
Just give me one more ride, boys.
Those two, and then let's not forget Cam Bergeron led the team in tackles in 2024. I mean, Manny came in and slow-stroked the ball.
And that's when Trey Freeman wasn't,
That's after Trey Freeman was Trey Freeman.
That was pre-lobotomy, Trey Freeman.
Yeah.
Our friend Lane Phipps, with the development of Castellanos trying to enter the transfer portal, what are the odds Duke is trying to go after him? And he said he wasn't ruling out hitting the portal again around the same time of the 5th-year ruling. Could be a big nothing burger, but he fits the Brewer system. Man, if we're pulling a quarterback out of the portal with 22 days to go before the season, give or take.
We're not.
I will say, the second that news dropped like 2 weeks ago, I sent it in and said, he's ours if we want him. But yeah, if this was maybe a month ago, I think there'd be an outside chance, but this close to the season,
ain't no way.
Yeah. Did you guys see when the 5th-year thing dropped, the Chronicle or something posted about potential like former Duke players who could potentially come back. and somebody mentioned Todd. And our friend Chris replied and said, please God, no. And a member of the Polino family had to set him straight on Todd's accolades and numbers. I was like, oh dear God. I was like, two people who I like a lot beefing. It's like watching your parents fight. Um Crim
2008 again.
yeah. Crim Roy says again, he asks, is Jonah Burton an industry plant?
Yes.
I don't even know what that means, man.
Justin Hillard at Bleed Blue _24. What part of Nate Sheppard's game still needs improvement? None of it. For him to take it to the next level, how
I
much
feel like
more?
pass blocking is a good answer there, not to cut
You
you
think
off,
so?
but
Because we were raving
yeah.
about his pass blocking last year.
Well, I mean, it's good, but I mean, there was a couple times where I mean, and it's just size more than anything, but sometimes you got to get a little bit lower. But there's a couple of highlight pieces out there where he might have not have handled it as well as he could have. But I mean, I feel like running the ball and his catch game is perfect, but everybody's got to improve a little bit. So it'd have to be blocking. And Nate's the kind of guy I feel like he tries to work to improve even what others think is perfect. So. It's exciting to just know he's going to be on that field.
True.
At least we hope.
Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Noah. Probably pass pro. I don't. I mean, he did a really good job of being patient last year. Like he waited in the backfield and he did a good job of finding holes. Um, maybe I'd like to see him more. I think last year we used him a lot in between the tackles. Um, I like to maybe try and see us get him more going outside this year and see how that looks. But it's really hard to say after watching him as a freshman last year and sit here and pick apart his game when
Yeah.
he was 10 times more ahead than guys that have been in the program for 3 years.
Yeah.
True. Our friend Timothy, Mr. Duke Gonzalez, says, great news. No Steve Adazio on the commentary for ACC Network this season. It's going to be Wes Durham and Max Brown on prime time. I'd be really excited. Actually, no, I am excited because here's why. Duke is not going to be on any of the primetime slots for ACC Network this year, which means that I'll be watching the primetime games from home. So that's great for us.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about him whenever we're at games, you know.
Yeah.
But it's those sneaky ones when you drive home from all this weight, you're a little drunk, a little sunburnt, you know, just trying to chill out, and the next thing you know, you got his lame ass on the TV. It's like mute.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Trying to think. I don't think we're going to be in any. Because we've already got technically 2 primetime games.
Yeah.
They're on Friday nights. So
And what channel will those be on? ESPN, do you think?
Yeah, I think they're both ESPN.
The Clemson one is for sure, I think.
Like if you look at the host slate, Tulane, they've already put on. What are we all know?
3:30.
And then
Stanford's 4.
William and Mary's 3.
3. Yeah.
Carolina will be midday kick.
You know it. You know they'll fucking 3:30 that one to death on ESPN
No
2.
way in hell Duke Boston College is getting the ACC.
If Duke and Boston
primetime
College
slot.
are playing at 8 p.m., we'll do something extravagant.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we'll pour mayo on each other. We'll do like Pop-Tart baths with mayonnaise, like for the bowls or something just crazy, man. Because there ain't, I mean, and go ahead and screen record this now. At least I'll do it. Like if Duke BC it plays at 8 p.m., like I'll take the Duke's mayo bath, pour Pop-Tart Uncrustables all over me, whatever, man.
And then we'll all lick it off at the tailgate.
Yeah, yeah. With Garrett there, please.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking. Duke versus GT Tech doesn't have a time yet. State doesn't have a time yet.
Could possibly be.
Yeah,
State,
both teams are rolling in mid-October. They could be.
State very well might get a night game with us,
Especially because they're probably gonna be good this year,
and
unfortunately.
it'll sell out, of course. There.
Yeah. Duke at Miami. We know Miami's gonna be good, but
Noon.
yeah. If Duke is any good, we'll see because the storyline is there. Remember last year we were like, well, the Carolina storyline is there, and if both teams are good, we'll be prime time. Boy, were we wrong.
And then the season happened.
Yeah, dude. But yeah. Good comment, Tim. I actually didn't know that, so thanks for filling me in.
Yeah.
Nobody speaks ACC Network more fluently than Tim Gonzalez, that's for sure.
Damn right.
Our friend Peter Dodge asks, was the secondary play last season due to a lack of talent, detrimental attitude, coaching, or all of it? Yeah.
All.
Yeah, I mean, after hearing Manny at media days, I don't want to say lack of talent. Lack of experience is probably a better term there. Because I mean, outside of Chandler Rivers, we didn't have anybody that played more than like 7 snaps.
Yeah.
So it was really tough to like grade that. Like we had a bunch of the true sophomores, true freshmen trying to get in there. But Mandy's comments at media days, attitude definitely played a part in it. And coaching, I've made it clear I don't like Mandy and Packy's system, but that's a whole other discussion for another day. I just don't believe that a defense predicated on
Havoc.
luck, on luck plays is a good philosophy.
Yeah, being opportunistic. Um, yeah, I mean, I know we've talked about it a few times. Manny came out in the media recently and talked about this head on, and he made some really good comments. Um, just he said something, quote, "We're trying to play a lot of guys on the back end. There are times looking out there in the second half of games that we have 3 true freshmen. I've been doing this a long time, and I haven't played with 3 true freshmen in the secondary before." Um, yeah, there are no jobs claimed in the secondary. Everybody understands that every time there's a ball thrown during practice, someone has a chance to earn playing time this year. And that's the way it should be. That was probably our weakest spot on the entire roster last year, and they targeted them in the portal. So I'm glad that they did that. That gives me hope right there, right, Noah? Like just the fact that he acknowledged it head on and they
Yeah,
targeted
and
that.
and I think we were speaking on it earlier. And Manny, since he's been here, you can kind of tell he goes after the weakest links. He's
Yeah.
not a guy that's just gonna be like, it'll work
That's
itself
fine.
out.
Yeah.
He's not. He understands that in college football you can't play the waiting game. And especially when it comes to rooms where you're already young, it's like you can't just wait around and hope. And like obviously you got guys that'll come in like a KD Cotton that's, off the charts type good, and you're like, yeah, but if the other guys aren't panning out, you can't sit there and just hope year by year they'll get better. You got to go out and get young guys that are good or proven vets. So and like I said, I think it's all from last year. To Peter's question, I think, and there were some injuries too that I think kind of can account for some of the shortcomings of some guys like Stone and Kamari, as well as Stone playing out of position a lot last year due to a lot of the injuries. But yeah, I think last year was just a bad mix of just about everything in that room. And we've said it before, can't get much worse.
Yeah. That's the motto. That's what they've got on their shirts when they're doing their reps in the gym with
Can't
Healy.
be worse.
Hashtag can't get worse. Um, next question from my friend Jen at Bull City Jen. I know Nate put on 10 pounds and the two CJs look shifty. With that said, should Billy Daal get some looks at the power back position?
I think
Who's wide
so.
receiver 3, Moore or Solomon? And are we sure Nicholas is wide receiver 2?
I think Dahl will get some run at power back. Wide receiver. We'll get into the wide receiver 2 thing. I'm not sure. I don't know if we're going to try and make him wide receiver 2 or let him be the slot guy and stick a Solomon at wide receiver 2. Um, I think to start the year, we might see Nicholas start at wide receiver 2 and more in the slot. And then as the year progresses, maybe transition Nicholas into the slot and get, a Brody Keefe or, a Javen Solomon into that wide receiver 2 role. But
I can see that, Tyler. Nicholas wide receiver 2 on the outside, Moore at slot.
the problem is we have like 5 slot receivers. And
Ooh, in excess.
They
That's
all
for
went to the
sure.
school of Samir Hagens. But yeah, a great in-depth question there from our friend Jen. So thank you, Jen. Our friend Sam at Bleeding Duke Blue. Regardless of if they're a transfer or not, who's one player in both the receiver room and the secondary that could be flying under the radar right now, but by season's end, we could be pointing at as a key difference maker for Duke's success?
I'd like to go with the old freshman terror twins, KD Cotton and Brody Keefe. Big spring games and big springs from both of them throughout practice and everything, but also fall camp. A lot of good things been coming from both those guys. Some really impressive catches on Brody's side and some of the things that Duke's posted. And then the couple of highlights of KD as well. Some really great man-to-man coverage skill there. I think by halfway through the season, and especially if we're on like kind of a punt track, for the year, those guys get in, get more reps. They're going to be something serious for us to be talking about for the off season and years to come.
Yeah.
Ooh, man.
He asked the second part. Also, do y'all think Nate breaks a Duke single season rushing touchdown record at 14? This feels like the best chance we've had for it to be broken. I think CJ will also be a problem for opposing defenses, but with Sheppard having bulked up, I imagine he gets extra goal line opportunities. Yeah, I mean, I imagine they both get goal line opportunities this year, and I think there is a chance that Nate could break the record, especially because they're going to be leaning on him pretty heavy.
I think if anybody would, it would be Nate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he almost got what did we say he had last year? He had what 11 last year,
And that's in like 8 or 9 games.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
him basically not playing the first 3 games of the season. So I think he gets there. I think he might get there pretty easily.
I mean, yeah, he might set the one, that people will have to that we'll be talking about years down the road. It's like, can somebody finally get to Nate's record? So
Yeah.
there's no doubt in my mind he could easily put up an 18 to 20 touchdown year as long as healthy and gets the snaps and the O line kind of
Holds up.
just does half of what we think they could, so. And it's exciting that, whenever you got something like that on the horizon, because by no means has Duke had a bunch of legendary running backs, like 14 total touchdowns, in a season for your record isn't the highest standard to go break. But, we're entering an era of Duke football where we're getting recruits and players where we want them to set these new bars and kind of break through that old barrier of what the standard of talent was. There wasn't no Nates back in the day ever coming to Duke. They wouldn't look this way. So all for that and hope he busts right through it.
I mean, it's like Malik broke the single season passing touchdown record with like 26
Yep.
and set it at like 28 or something. And then Mensa broke it again last year. But like, think about that. The record of most passing touchdowns in a season was set in the 80s at like 25 or something like that, which is crazy.
Yeah, and quarterbacks have thrown for like 50 in a year as of late. You know what I mean? Like Joe Burrow threw for like 64 his Heisman year and shit.
That's so Duke. Let's see. Brendan Hips said at Bad Boy Hips. I haven't heard much on Brody Keefe since he went off in the spring game. Any word on how he's looked at camp or where he falls in the pecking order? I'm guessing he'll get a good amount of playing time this year.
Yeah, we've already touched on it a little bit. We'll get there. Wide receivers in a minute, but he's looked all right.
Lion to the Devil. Good to hear from you again. Any info on who the starting kicker will be? I assume it's Cosme, but maybe some chances Ashton Zamani and that freshman Gavin Strange was also highly rated. My guess would be Cosme as the starter, at least to start the season, just because, again, seniority, he's been here, and it sounds like he's got a pretty strong leg. But hey, we've got 3 capable kickers. May the best man win. I don't care who they trot out there, as long as they're the best one.
Is that the last mailbag?
Well, somebody replied to my retweet of the mailbag. Brian Porras, so this is the last one.
Big Brian.
Yeah. He asked, will there be some sort of banner ceremony for the ACC championship at the first game? I think if it was any other program, yes. But unfortunately, I'm not saying it won't happen, but I'm not saying it won't happen. But if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be like, wow, I'm shocked. I'd just be like, oh yeah.
Here's the other thing. Where are we like there's nowhere to put a banner.
I think they could just find somewhere.
They're absolutely
just
drape
fix
it over the video board.
Yeah.
Or drape it over the scoreboard. We won't need it this year.
Yeah, or the top
at
at the
look at that.
at the where the
I've been saying
outdoor
this, the
top seats
facade.
come. Yeah,
The facade of the front of the deck on Blue Devil
Yeah.
Tower, it's
That's
just
the
a
place.
strip of blank concrete. And that's prime real estate to put like a ring of honor, accomplishments, put the 2025 ACC title up there, put David Cutcliffe's name up there, and put a few names up there. It's really not
Yeah.
that hard to do. I mean, not to big, oh, can we please be like NC State? But my God, they do that. Carolina does that.
Every school,
Everyone
has it.
does that.
Yeah, no, literally every school you could go to watch a game does that. I mean, UNC Charlotte, Jerry Richardson has a ring of honor. They ain't got nobody to honor. It's like,
Yeah. But they do it. By God, they do it.
Still fucking hang a banner. But no.
Thanks for the mailbag, guys. That was a nice hearty one. So on to special teams. Who wants to take us into special teams?
Well, I'll grab the old specialist unit from the 4 year long snapper himself here. Guys, it was a season of guys moving on, some long time names that we've been comfortable and accustomed to seeing. Todd Polino on his way to Northwest Mutual in New York. So shout out Todd, huge, great family, great kid. Todd, we're gonna miss you at Duke, man. And then
Especially
also,
daytime Todd Polino.
oh man, daytime Todd. That BS. Remember when BSBL made the split sheet last year, and he was at 98% during
When
daylight.
the sun is up.
Just
Yeah.
ridiculous. And then of course, another important position, Curtis Cooper, long snapper for Duke, grandson of Tommy Limbaugh. For those that don't know, losing Curtis, that's a tough blow. Another long snapper you kind of guy. Really was a steadfast dude for us. We never had to worry about something going over somebody's head or being rolled back the last few years. But then to that point, it kind of brings in some young blood. Cosme Solace. He's a redshirt sophomore, kind of the projected starter. Took over kickoff duties last year. Did a great job getting it to the back of the end zone. But it is worth noting he has not attempted an extra point or a field goal in a game, live game, since high school. And then, of course, freshman Gavin Strange, number 6 kicking prospect nationally, and Ashton Zamani, redshirt freshman. His senior year of high school, 62 of 73 of his kicks were touchbacks. So possibly if Cosme moves into Todd's role of kicking field goals, we might see Ashton move into the role of just taking over kickoff duties, because that's kind of how Duke's done it the last few years.
Dude, speaking of Ashton Zamani, my only memory or thought on Ashton Zamani to this point is remember when we didn't know for sure if Barkate had left or not, and they put up the picture of brunch bells, and you see Zamani down in the corner. Somebody's like, we were like, wait, is that Cooper? Is he still on campus? Did he stay? And then it was like, oh no, that's looks like Cooper, just like 100 pounds lighter. Yeah. Tyler, any thoughts on the special teams room? I almost said something else.
I mean, look, kicker, we're Cosme people. After I've been a Cosme fan since Elon last year, we were on the field and he kicked like a 30-yarder and it literally sounded like a cannon. It's interesting to see what'll happen. Strange could be good. I don't like the idea of a true freshman in collegiate football starting at kicker. I said that with Cade being a punter, and he's turned out just fine. So
More than just fine.
yeah. So I mean, it's just a really interesting spot. Like, Duke's always had decent special teams play at worst, but I think Cosme gets the nod. However, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we see multiple guys attempt field goals early on. Just throw something at the window and see what sticks.
Yeah. Punter. No, wait, did you talk about punter?
No, just wrapping up the field goal guys there.
Our buddy Caddy Richardson, is the returning starting punter. He's a true junior, anywhere from first to third in preseason all ACC among all outlets. 119 points in his career, averaging 44 yards per punt, 48 down inside the 20 versus 8 touchbacks, 24 punts of 50 plus. He had a career-long punt of 63 yards versus State in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's a junior. God, I thought he was a freshman last year. Holy shit.
I was sophomore.
He's second in Duke history for punting average coming to this season behind Porter Wilson at 44.4 and Will Monday, shout out the GOAT, at 43.5.
Fucking Will.
Last and kind of least but not least, long snapper battle.
I don't know if it's much of a battle. I think it's Jack Yates all day.
Yeah.
There's
been a lot of Jack Yates propaganda this offseason.
Yeah, and I'm for it. You know what I mean? They're kind of gassing him up a little bit. Maybe he's like our next Thomas Hennessy. He
didn't get a scholarship for nothing. I'll say that.
Yeah, go Jack Yates.
He's not here to play school.
Yeah, damn right.
But yeah, I mean Jack Yates, Jake Fitzgerald, and Jack Colino are the 3 guys in that room, and no one's taken a single snap at long snapper at this level, which is kind of terrifying. But yeah, everyone is on the Jack Yates train, and we assume that Jaden Moore is going to handle the kick return and punt return responsibilities alongside Bryce Davis. And Jamie and Little. I'm never letting that die.
They're gonna have like Bryce Davis like as a read option pitch this year on
Yeah.
kick return. It's gonna be Jaden Moore and him running like a flex.
We assume Jamie and Little and Jaden Moore will be the two guys back for kick returns, and Jaden Moore probably handles punt returns.
Yeah.
Agreed.
All right. Moving on to receivers. A lot of turnover in the offseason at receiver. We lost Cooper Barkate, Snake number 2 to move down to Miami. I don't give a shit that he was a nice guy. I don't care that he was only following Mensa. I don't have to like him.
Fuck his dad too.
Yeah, he's saying his dad too. Is that
I
what you
said
said?
fuck his dad too. Yeah, for real. All that nice boy bullshit in people's DMs.
Let's see. Samir Hagans is with the Colts right now. Duke legend. Friend of ours. I have so much stock in him, and boy, is it hitting right now. We lost Keyshawn Brown to Virginia Tech. That one really hurts. God, we sure could use him right now. And then we lost Chase Tyler. I believe he's with Wake Forest right now. So
And Deke.
lost a lot of guys. But Tyler, talk to us about the guys that we got in.
Just receiver and secondary are just giant rooms. So just some guys real quick that are outside the top 6, but you might hear names called at some point in time throughout the year. Keanu Johnson's a redshirt freshman. Paxton Kettering is a redshirt sophomore, 6'4", 200. That makes me happy. I love big bodied receivers.
He loves large men.
Bricked up.
Man,
Yeah.
Kayvon, wait till we get to the secondary. There's like 2 guys in there that are like 6'2" and 6'3", and oh god. Kayvon Simmons is a redshirt freshman at 6'1", 190. Kayvon Conciaro is a true freshman at 6'4", 200.
A lot of young pups.
Is a grad transfer, 6'3", 215. Jonah Burton, Crim's guy, is a grad transfer at 5'11", 210. If I had to pick anyone out of this pay range to get some playing time, it's him. He's saw time at Idaho and at Baylor, so he's played in the Kibby Dome, which is just phenomenal.
He's got this aura around
him. Paul Holyfield Jr., 6 foot, 200 pounds, is another grad transfer, and Jackson Majori is a true freshman at 6 foot, 180 pounds. Again, just there's a lot of guys in the receiving room, and we just think those guys fall outside the top 6. But you might hear their names called at some point in time, garbage time or just rotational pieces. But now we'll get to the heavy hitters,
top to bottom. These are the guys who we assume we're going to be hearing the most. No, we know we're going to be hearing the most from this year. Mm-hmm. Starting off, Jared Richardson. He's a grad transfer. Probably of our main guys who are going to be getting the most reps. He's definitely our, biggest in terms of physicality wide receiver 1. 6'2", 200, transfer from Penn. Across 33 games and 29 starts, he has 193 receptions, just over 2,500 yards, and 27 touchdowns. He's an all-Ivy League, as well as several first and second team All-American selections last year. Phew. 10 or more receptions in 7 games, and 7 or more receptions in 11 games. Big body frame, sure-handed, good speed, good route running. Clear wide receiver 1 going into this year for us. And I think we're all expecting him to have a pretty good year. That's for sure.
Yeah, pretty high on him. There's no, and I agree. Kind of that wide receiver 1 role. It feels like that's why you brought him in. That was your big hitter. And glad to have him there. The Ivy transfers have bode well for us, but his stats and tape kind of jump off the chain compared to the rest. And kind of that other transfer we brought in that a lot of people are high on, and for good reason. Javen Nicholas, 5'9", 190. Originally started his career at LSU, transferred to the illustrious University of North Carolina at Charlotte. 38 games. All of his starts, I believe, came at UNC Charlotte last year. 11 of those, 64 receptions, almost 800 yards, and 5 TDs. He had 4+ receptions 9 times and 2 different times last year with over 100 yards. Off the ball, really good speed, really good route running ability. And a guy that, probably should be in the slot, but with a guy like Jaden Moore, he might be playing some more outside or possibly, rotating the slot a little bit. So, it's going to be a good explosive player for us to have after losing a guy like Queso, as they say in Moneyball.
And Samir.
Yep.
Replace him in the
and
aggregate.
Yeah, got to replace him in the aggregate.
Yeah, I think those two, like we said, clear cut top two guys this year in that room. Jaden Moore is back, redshirt sophomore, 5'8", 190, obviously brother of Jordan Moore. 14 games played for Duke. He's had 7 receptions, 42 yards, 3 kick returns for 76 yards. So probably he's the most experienced returner in the whole receiver room for Duke as a redshirt sophomore. Let that sink in. I kind of expect him to be a Swiss Army knife, really. Like, return game, slot receiver. We might throw him outside some. I'm not ruling out. His brother did it. Wildcat quarterback. Just throw everything at people this year when you suck. Just throw whatever you can at guys. What flashes we saw from him last year? Was it the? I know I harped on it a long time. The Georgia Tech game where
Oh my God.
It's crunch time. They
yeah,
were
that wasn't
down
a
and we're
knock. That
trying to
was a
get back
knock
in the
on.
game.
That wasn't a knock on Jaden Moore. He was open. It just that just in the wrong spot.
God, we were so mad about that after the game, man.
Everybody just freaking the fuck out.
But again, that wasn't enough on Jaden. That was just the whole spot and how he shouldn't even been out there. But I think he's gonna firmly be Duke's third or fourth best receiver this year. Like I said, it's just gonna be it's how they schematically get everybody out there because him and Javen should be slot guys. Because the next 3 guys we got to talk on, I think, should probably all be outside as that wide receiver too, or battle for it. But then it becomes either Moore or Nicholas has to be off the field if you do that. So
These next 3 dudes are guys I'm praying to God we get to have for a few years, man. I'm just praying to God because it's like possibly the best young trio in that room we've ever had.
Eli, you hit on the one that everybody's talking about, probably getting the most run out of these 3.
Yeah. Who have you Javion Solomon?
Davion.
Yeah, Javion Solomon is a redshirt freshman, 6'1", 190. He's seen action in 3 career games. Former 3-star recruit with over 2,000 yards in high school. We've heard his name come up a lot, all in good ways. And he could possibly work his way into that outside wide receiver 2 spot. Think he'll definitely get some reps this year. As for how many or when, we don't know, but we'll probably hear his name at times, or at least see him on the field.
Right
Yeah.
now, out of the 3 freshmen we have, he's probably in the best spot to see early playing time.
Yeah.
Him and Brody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, then Javion, just that size, 6'1", 190, but that speed and, athleticism really good and contested catches and one-on-ones. Like that seems to be like outside of Richardson, we don't really have one of those guys this year due to just size disadvantages with even some of our better guys like Nicholas and stuff. So, to see him get out there, get some good reps, go out on some post routes and things like that, and go up and get the ball will be huge. And then another guy, seen a lot of film on him already, a lot of highlights. Ever since the spring, people have almost kind of
Speaking of size,
yeah, I mean, this is
Speaking of
the
large men.
dream for guys like us. And shout out to the Keefe family, sat with us at the spring game. Cool that they followed along ever since. Great folks, but man, Brody Keefe, freshman, 6'3", 200, 3-star prospect, over 1,000 yards and 14 touchdowns at Myers Park. Just a huge frame, considering he's 18, 19 years old. Red zone threat for Walker or Dan, just a big bodied guy that you could trust to go up there and try to make a play on it towards the back pylons. Also, just a guy, I feel like the more he gets reps and the more he gets acclimated to the speed of college football, just the better he's going to get, man, and the more explosive he'll be. And you see it here, it says Brody Vernon Keefe under my username, but he's a Connor Vernon build. I mean, a little bigger, but same speed, athleticism, probably even better, So a guy that really, even if he doesn't get a ton of time this year, would still love to see him in the season with 300 yards, 2 or 3 touchdowns, 15, 20 receptions, just being a good consistent presence each game as a target on the field.
Yeah, and I think we're pretty high on Brody. No one's as high on Brody as Krim is, but hopefully this works out better than the last time Krim was really high on a true freshman, a la Peyton Jones. I think Brody will see more playing time this season than Peyton saw in like 3 years with Duke, though. And last up, Jamian Little, redshirt freshman. He's 6'2", 185. Another big, tall receiver to put out wide at that, was wide receiver 2 spot if we have to. He's only appeared in 2 games, but he's a former 3-star. He was a top 10 recruit in the state of North Carolina. He had over 1,700 all-purpose yards his senior year at Hickory, serving as a wide receiver and return specialist. Like I said, yeah, I think him, Keith, and Solomon are probably, battling it out for that wide receiver 2 spot, assuming, we don't put Nicholas there. And I assume that, you have to have 2 guys back on kick returns. If it's not Bryce Davis, it'll probably be Jamian Little, just because he's got the most experience there from the sounds of it. But,
You just snubbed Preston Watson so hard.
yeah. Well, he's got punts. Someone's got punts too. But it's going to be a really interesting battle, I think, all year with those 3 guys to see who emerges. And the good thing is, they're all, with the exception of Brody, who I highly tout redshirts this year. They're all freshmen. Like, they've all got 3-4 years left with us, assuming they stay all those years. So, like Noah said, the future of the receiver room looks, phenomenal.
And getting them on the field is an important part of growing and developing that and making sure we keep them.
Yeah. Moving on. I mean, it's like considering what we lost in the receiver room in the offseason, I think we did a hell of a job filling the gaps the best we could. So kudos to the coaching staff for that. See how they pan out. I have faith that they'll produce this year. Moving on to the secondary.
Everybody's favorite position group from last year.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about the epitome of can't get worse.
What do you mean? This is the reason we won the championship and went 11-1 last year and made the playoff and beat UConn and Tulane and had the perfect year.
Yeah. We lost Chandler Rivers to the NFL. We lost Chandler Rivers to the NFL. He's with the Ravens right now. Terry Moore is with Ohio State. Whatever. See you, Terry. Enjoy Ohio. Depth guys who we probably aren't going to be hearing a lot of this year, but as a wise man once said, everybody on the roster deserves to have their name called once. Leon Griffin III is a redshirt junior. Brady Winter, redshirt freshman. Let's see. Lyric Pettis is a freshman. Colby Harmon, redshirt freshman. Caleb Lanier, redshirt freshman. Tyson Stanford is another freshman. Evan Smith, who's a grad transfer. And then finally, Katie Cotton, who's a freshman at 5'9", 185. 3 guys who you could potentially hear out of that group are Katie Cotton, Evan Smith, and Leon Griffin III. Might hear the names this year because they will be rotating the secondary around a lot because there are no guaranteed starters at this moment. But we expect to hear other guys' names more, basically.
Yeah, well, Noah's big on Katie Cotton, and we've heard a lot of good things about him.
Tape's off the charts, man.
There's just a lot of old guys and true freshmen. If there's 3 guys you have to pick, he's one of them. Evan Smith, a grad from a Northwestern, longtime rival of the Blue Devils. Glad we finally got one up on him. So I think those are 3 guys.
Leon Griffin too at safety, I think, with Stone. I mean, I know we got Stone, Juice, and Young, but he's a guy that has made some good plays, and he got some really good playing time last year, and honestly, kind of one of our better tacklers in the second half of the year. So I'm all for that.
So we'll hit now. Kind of again like with receivers, the guys that we think will be the key rotation guys. We expect to start the year. Quarterback 1 will be Kamari Robinson. Redshirt junior. He's 5'10", 180 pounds. 24 games played, 10 starts. It's got 59 career tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 6 PBUs, 1,011 snaps played. To say he struggled last year would be an understatement. But he was kind of thrown into the fire And here's the other thing, as much as I want to, dog on our secondary, they didn't get a lot of help. Like the defensive line wasn't really helping them out at all. The linebackers, for as good as they played at times, they couldn't cover me on a 2 yard out route.
Or a
Um,
mobile quarterback.
yeah, so like the secondary didn't get a lot of help, but then it was like the few times where they had to step up and make a play when everything else went right, it just felt like they couldn't.
Yep.
Like it was like, okay, guys, the defensive line got the pressure. The linebackers are taking away the middle of the field. We just need you guys to get this one stop in the secondary.
They were all just
And,
digging in their butts and shit, man.
and our DBs are all looking that way.
It was
But
house call after house call after house call.
I
well,
expect significant improvement out of Kamari though.
yeah, like
Yeah. Plus, him being
pulling
healthy helps.
with the defense being overall improved, um, a second year of starting for Kamari, like we want him to, and we hope he has a better year. With that said, the good thing about if we get more in depth with this group, if he doesn't this year, we have the pieces to where we don't have to leave him out there.
Yeah,
Last
we're
year,
not
It's
we had,
not
forced.
it's not make or
yeah,
break.
last year we had to leave him out there. Like no matter what, this year we've got the depth to where hey, if you're not performing, your ass is coming off the field. Um, but Noah, if you want to talk about the guy who we presume to be DB2, the other returner.
Yeah, this is kind of a guy I feel like maybe has a little more upside on his return than Kamari does this year. At last year, at times he showed some pretty good glimpses of man-to-man coverage skill. He got burned his fair share too, but so did everybody. Landon Callahan, redshirt sophomore, 5'11" on tender. He's 6'1", 185 pounds,
That's good.
17 games played. He made 6 starts last year. So, of course, as we've repeatedly said, injuries and literally the plague went through that room essentially. And started all those games towards the end of the year. 43 tackles, 2 pass breakups. Won the Cutcliffe Family Award presented to the program's most improved player. So I feel like that's a very good kind of bode to, his willingness to work and improve. And I feel like that'll be huge going into a redshirt sophomore year, third year with the program. Looking forward to seeing him. Where he fits in the 1, 2, 3 of Callahan, Robinson, and Loud. I don't know because Loud might be one, Kamari might be one, Callahan might be one. But you got to have 3 corners, so that's kind of a good field to be playing in for sure.
Yep. I don't want to attempt this name. Tyler, you do it.
Oh, okay, I got you. Che Ojerike from Stanford, West Coast guy. Eli liked that from
I'm
Palo
excited about this
Alto.
guy.
Pretty sure Duke's just bringing. I think we're pulling a Caleb Krings here. Stanford's on the schedule this year. We need all until we can get to win games this year.
Get a transfer from every school. Yeah.
Yeah, just pull it into whatever we can to get some intel. But he, 6'2", 205. We played in 23 games at Stanford, 6 starts. He's got 34 tackles, 1 interception, 2 PBUs. Like I said, I like big frame, secondary guys. Like Duke's just always had the cheetahs going back to the days where we had 5'9" guys that were just quick, and then every jump ball we just would pray to maybe get a fingertip on.
Just tackle him.
But 23 games at the P4 level. He's going to be a great vet for the locker room, and that's something that Duke really needs this year, especially like relying on Callahan, Kamari, Juice, some of these younger guys all over. So I think he's probably going to be the first cornerback we see sub into the game most games, outside the first 3. But I think he could provide a lot of. He's going to help on the field, but I think he's going to be an even bigger help, behind the scenes in practice.
Yeah, getting a grad transfer from a P4 program. I'm all about
Like
that any day of the
Stanford
week.
too.
With it, yeah, with a good frame as well. I'm all
He's even
about
got the
that.
grades.
Yeah. Last but not least, before we get on to safeties, I want to talk about Keon Loud and Dylan Flowers real quick. Keon Loud, redshirt sophomore, 6'2", 190, transfer from Montana. We told you guys they hammered the secondary in the portal, and I'm glad they did.
Yeah, he's a goat.
20 games, 7 starts, 43 tackles, 6 PBUs, and 4 more tackles in 4 games. He was pretty sought after in the portal and has a ton of upside. He's got 3 years of eligibility remaining, which adds much needed height, and will contend for one of the backup cornerback roles. But nevertheless, expect him rotated in most games.
I couldn't
Yeah, I think he
remember.
starts day one. Yeah, no, I don't. There ain't a world he don't play.
Who the
day
hell
one.
wrote this shit?
God damn it, Tyler.
I can't remember for sure, Noah. I didn't put it in there. I think he might have been the number 1 rated FCS transfer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's playing.
I think out of the
That's Duke's
FCS,
bread and butter right there.
He was number 1.
It's tape because Montana ain't no slouch. You know what I mean? Them motherfuckers, they're playing in January every year.
The Grizz have been one of the better
like
FCS since coming.
Yeah, they're one of the better teams up there. Always in that Final Four. Always playing in January. Keon, a guy I've been high on since the spring pod, even when he wasn't at Duke yet, and so far into the fall. I think he's going to be a steadfast guy for us out there. Then of course Eli got old Dylan Flowers for us.
The big red.
Absolutely. Dylan Flowers, cornerback, grad transfer coming in from WKU. 5'10", 185. He also played and spent time at BYU. Over 35 games in his career. He's got 2 starts, 84 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 3 picks, 3 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, and 11 pass breakups.
Ball magnet.
Yeah. Pretty solid veteran who's played at essentially every level and performed every time. Call him Star Thomas. Alongside Che and Keon, expect to see him on the field rotating in a lot this season, as the secondary is much deeper and much more experienced than they were last year.
We are going to talk for years about weeks 3 through 5, Dylan Flowers.
Where were you for weeks 3 through? Oh, speaking of which, I have I sent Jake this video earlier of what's his name? Star Thomas from the Miami game in 2024. And he said the coaches make a joke every time we're watching film and he's in it. They say, quote, Star put down his cigarette and then decided to get 30 yards on this one.
Pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much. He stuck it in his face mask up at the top. Anyway, off Flowers, off Star Thomas, rounding third, heading for home. It's a brown-eyed handsome man. Let's talk about the safeties here.
Got some good ones,
That we talk about stout rooms on the roster. I feel like the more we talk about these position groups and the more we go through these and the closer we get to the start of the season, the more my nerves are a little, the more I feel like I can breathe.
Duke's got you right where it was.
They got you right where they want you.
They've got I've got them in 3rd and 8 right now. They just where they want me. No, but seriously, I mean, like, let's talk about probably the youngest guy in the room. Andrew Pelachata had a decent amount of playing time last year. He's a sophomore, 5'11", 200. Across 14 games, he had 26 tackles, 1 interception, and 2 pass breakups. Played in every game last year as a true freshman, and he saw 357 snaps. Talk about experience gained. Starting safety this year, no doubt. Showed several flashes and a ton of potential last season. A full year of starting for the hard-hitting, quote-unquote, juice will help anchor that back line.
Yeah, man. Just, you could tell last year. As soon as he got in, he was up to speed.
Difference maker.
Yeah.
Speaking of difference makers, we're going to talk about a guy next. Now I'm going to have Noah talk about him just because Noah's owned stock in this guy for like 3 years now.
Noah's loved him since he got in the program.
I was a fan of him when he was a Riddled Rocket, go Rockets. But Deshaun Stone, kind of the resident unk, even though he's just a redshirt junior, so 4th year, just normal college kid. But 6'3", 195 by pretty much every website looking at a 3rd team or all honorable mention preseason all ACC. 1 of 5 returning players in the ACC alongside Mergo to have 85 tackles last year. So Stone was tackling a lot of guys way downfield last year was the issue, I think. And a lot of that came from him having to play out of position. We want him to get those tackles, but at the line of scrimmage are like 3 yards deep. So hopefully that repeats again this year, just in a better light for us, if that makes sense. In his time at Duke, 32 games, 142 tackles, 3 picks, 3 fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries, 4 pass breakups, and 15 games of 5+ tackles and 8+ tackles in 5 games. Played over almost 1,400 snaps. Definitely the returning vet. He's a strong hitter, needs to play downhill. He doesn't need to be bailing out into cover 3 pass coverage, trying to get over the top and help corners and stuff each time. So it really, and he's healthy. You know, him and Kamari both, a lot of surgeries to get healthy, to get right. And, you know, hope both those guys flourish while being healthy and kind of going into this season with a reset, essentially.
Yeah, but before we get to the last guy, that's the other thing I think with this secondary we're going to see this year is they're going to hit people. Like I don't remember the last time we had a secondary that I felt like would lay people out. Like, we might get 2 targeting penalties a game this year.
I hope so.
Like I think our
More fun.
defense as a whole this year is going to just like not be better, but I think they're going to play with more edge, a chip on their shoulder, like just a lot more physicality.
Well, they can
I think
afford to
we are
this year,
going
too.
to. I think when we get the chance to, we're going to absolutely light people up defensively this year. Like was it Jeremy Taft in that one Georgia Tech highlight from
Oh,
2013 that we
God,
show all the
yeah.
time, just blowing? Yeah,
Well, we already have a guy saying they want to put their helmet in Darian's chest 20 times. So, hell yeah, I'm all
now
in on that.
let's take that energy to every other game.
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
use that against Tulane first, boys.
Yeah. Tulane's the reason we got Darian, and Darian's the reason Darian left. So it's all Tulane's fault, guys.
Yep.
Take your anger out on Tulane first. It's their fault Darian left Duke. If
Last
he
but
would have
not
stuck at
least,
Tulane, he'd have never come here.
true. Last but not least, friend of ours on the team says this guy is, quote, the truth. So I'm gonna feature him in the thumbnail for this video. Rounding it out, Patrick Smith Young at safety, grad transfer, 5'9", 190, transfer from North Texas and ODU. Over 39 career games and 25 starts. He has 194 tackles, 4.5 tackles for loss, 1 interception, 2 forced fumbles, and 5 pass breakups. And he's had 5 or more tackles 22 times. Perfect play style to fit in with Juice and Stone. Super physical, flies to the ball. Most likely the 3rd safety on the depth chart and will be the first player to rotate in. But I mean, shit. If he's the truth, he could be more than a rotational guy, I feel like. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think him and Griffin will be the 2 guys that sub in for Juice and Stone. That's not a knock on Smith Young. I just think that our safety room just has 4 really damn good guys, and when we say they're going to rotate in, I think most people here rotate in. All of them might play a series or
Yeah,
3
it's
or
50-50.
or 3 or 4 snaps. No, I think like Noah said, I think it'll be a 50-50 rep split between a lot of these guys in the secondary. Like I think you'll see,
Yeah, until it's earned that you should be out there for 75% or more, it shouldn't be much more than 50-50 with everybody
Yeah.
that's making headway.
we might see 8 guys in the secondary get 20 plus snaps a game. Like that's just with the lack of unprovenness and just trying to figure out who gels and plays together. But the talent is there. Like I feel much better about the secondary this year going into it than I did last year for sure.
Yeah. Well, that rounds out the episode, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you made it this far, thanks for listening. Make sure you drop a like, comment, subscribe. Let's see. We got just over 3 weeks until the season opener. I believe next we have 2 more episodes to do, or 3. We're trying to get a former player interview in at some point over the next couple of weeks. And if we can make that work, that'll be great.
And
then we
have
we have the season preview episode where we go through the schedule, and then we
And then
have
our
the Tulane
kickoff week,
the
yeah.
normal one. Cool. Well, yeah. Thanks for tuning
We're
in,
rolling.
guys. Cool. We will see you guys next week. Yeah. Until then, DDMF.